Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where we shamelessly talk about the things that make us smile, especially beauty products. Today we're going to be talking about the ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40 foundation, which I'm wearing right now. And we're also going to be doing a look with the McGrath Mega Mothership Celestial Divinity palette, which is part of her Holiday 2020 collection. So if that's something you're interested in seeing and learning more about, then please stick around. Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're talking about this Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40 by ILIA. I was very happy to pick this up. So what happened was I was looking for a product that I could use on the daily, that when I went out it would not look cakey, people couldn't even really tell I had anything on, but would also help with some coverage of the redness that I have right here, especially around my nose, kind of even out everything, and if possible cover up the scarring that I have on my bronzer line. So I was in Sephora shopping around with my mask on. I came across the ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint and I'm really looking forward to trying this. I swatched it in store. Oddly enough, my Sephora allows you to swatch things. So I've tried this several times already. I would say like 5 times at least, and I'm kind of in love with it. Spoiler for the review. But I wanted to show you like the process of me putting it on. What I'm gonna do a little bit differently that I don't normally do when I just wear this when I'm running out to like the grocery store. I'm gonna put on some concealer and some bronzer and a few other things to dress the look up more, because honestly this isn't something that I would wear on screen. It's not something I would use for like Instagram photos or for YouTube videos, because it's not gonna give the kind of full coverage you want. But the full coverage you want for those videos or photos is not the full coverage you want in your everyday life when people are looking at you face to face and not through a lens. So this is actually, I think, something that's a little bit more wearable than some of the full coverage items that we end up getting. Like running to the grocery store, I maybe don't want to look like this, but I do want to look close to this. Let me tell you a little bit about the product. This skin tint retails for $46, a weightless serum that leaves your skin looking like skin. Boasts SPF 40 coverage with non-nano zinc oxide, safely shielding skin from UVA, UVB, UVC, blue light, and infrared rays. ILIA Skin Tint is created with a blend of hyaluronic acids, plant-based squalane, and niacinamide, and evens tone, softens fine lines and imperfections, and dries down to a natural dewy finish. And this super serum doesn't stop there. It also creates a natural barrier for your skincare, sealing in hydration, plumping skin, and boosting any antioxidant effectiveness by 200%. Plus, it's silicone-free, fragrance-free, chemical screen-free, oil-free, non-comedogenic, and safe for sensitive skin. This is SPF made super. So this, again, retails for $46, and for $46 you get 1 fluid ounce. Let me just let that sit with you for a second. 1 fluid ounce. That is not a whole lot of product for $46. And it is sort of runny. I feel like you do use up quite a bit as you go. So I do see myself running through this, but I also really like it. So let me go ahead and show you how to put it on. It comes with a dropper, and you're supposed to take about 1/4 of the dropper and put it into your hand. So I am gonna do that. And it's very runny. See, it's running down my hands. And then what I do is I just use my fingers, so I tap in and then I just start applying it, especially where I want the most coverage, which is right over all of that acne scarring. And then yeah, I just use my hands to sort of pat it, rub it in. I do think it leaves my skin looking very much like skin. And sometimes I have to do some blending with my fingers because it does leave sort of a line. I'm going to show you how it covers up the redness in my nose. So this has serum in it, so it's very shiny. I already have oily skin, especially in the T-zone, so I tend to shine a lot. This is way too much shine for me. I don't mind dewiness, this is too dewy for me. If you were dry, this is gonna be so dewy, you're gonna love it. But what I do is I end up putting some powder over it to kind of calm it down. But I am going to be putting on some other products, and then I'm also going to be doing sort of a fun eye look with you. So I'm not going to walk you through the other products, that's going to be a different video, but I will walk you through the McGrath Celestial Divinity palette. I'm going to do a look with this one. So fun side note, this is the 2nd time I have filmed this video. Third time. The first time my hair was a mess and I was like, I can't post it like this, I'm sorry. The 2nd time, I accidentally deleted all the footage. It was so good. I did such a good job. The look that I did with this McGrath, I'm gonna put it here. It looked so good. It looked great. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on a few other things. Alright guys, we are back. I put on some concealer, some primer on my eyes, and some color corrector actually, because we're testing out a color corrector. But let's go ahead and get started with the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity palette. I have been loving this palette, so I've actually only had a chance to use it twice, so this is my third time. The first time I used it, I recorded it, and I accidentally deleted all the footage. So I'm actually going to probably do a look similar to that because it matches the shirt that I'm wearing. So I'm going to get started, and the first shade I'm going to go in with is that Vesuvian Orchid shade. I'm going to take Vesuvian Orchid and put it just above my crease using a Tom Ford number 13. I'm going to take a little bit of that and bring it underneath just because I always do that. I really do like that Vesuvian Orchid color. It's beautiful. It goes on really nicely. I'm using a different primer today and I'm having a lot of luck with it. I feel like there was no skipping in this shade at all. Sometimes I do get a little bit of skipping in the Pat McGrath mattes. I shared that in my first video. So from there, I'm gonna go in with the shade Venomous Void and put that just under my crease. And I'm gonna use a Sonia G Crease Pro. Okay, so I don't know if I shared this already, but I took a class with Kelsey Brianna J, one of my favorite YouTubers. It was a one-on-one course. It was not cheap, but it was very worth it. And one thing she was telling me is that I don't have hooded eyes. And I've always thought I had hooded eyes, but apparently I don't. She said like semi-hooded. And I wanted to jump for joy, oddly enough, when she told me that. I'm just looking straight on at the mirror to make sure that it looks even on both sides. And then fixing it where it doesn't look even. Yeah, I don't know what I did, how I ended up doing this, but somehow I got a ton more on my eye than I wanted. I went a little overboard with the shadow. And it just got worse and worse and worse. I'm gonna try to diffuse it with my Tom Ford number 13. But sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes you just make mistakes and you just gotta roll with it and hope that by the end you like it. And if not, you know better for next time. I just looked and I was like, oh, I made like a wing. How did I do that? And I had to do it on the other side. On the other side, I made it even bigger. Then I was like, well, I have to correct it. And now I have these huge wings. I'm going to take that Smoke Amethyst shade and apply it to the outer corner of my lid, like the outer V, but I'm going to be very careful because I know that the Smoke Amethyst has a lot of fallout. I'm just trying to deepen up that as much as I possibly can. Alright, now we've got it down, and I'm going to take the rougher number 14 and just start blending out the edges. I'm gonna pause it while I'm blending because this blending is gonna take like 3 hours. All right, we did do some blending. I feel like it could be blended more. Going in with a fluffier blending brush and just blending. Next, I'm going to take the shade Cosmic and put that on the inner corner of my lid. And I'm gonna use a rougher number P21. I'm gonna go in with some more over top of it. But that's a really neat like duochrome. And I'm just blending out the top where the line would be, kind of like the line of demarcation where I stopped putting the shadow on, and I'm blending it and kind of letting it go a little higher and even taking it back towards my brow bone to give it a little bit of like grungy oomph. I learned this from a YouTuber I was watching last night. Her name is Lauren, and she always has the coolest eye looks, and for the first time last night she was like, here's how I do my grungy eye looks, and I was like, yes! I love how this is looking. Like, absolutely love it. I'm so in love. I feel like this reminds me of the eye looks that my daycare teachers used to wear in the 80s. I want to take and put a little bit more of that Smoked Orchid on the outside just because I feel like it kind of disappears. Deepen it up nicely. And then I'm going to take that rougher P21 and try to just blend them out a little bit. I'm having so much fun with this. I love that it's duochromed. I think it's a little intense. I kind of like the look I did the last time a little bit better because I feel like I liked the placement, but this is like grunge. This is like, yeah, Lauren is kicking it. Do you want to put on an inner corner highlight? And I think I just want to use the same shade. I'm so happy with this. It's so fun and different and cool, and the duochrome goes on so nicely. It's like bam, right in your face. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Okay, I need to like take a breath and calm down. I'm gonna take the Vesuvian Orchid on and go underneath my eye using a pencil too. I like to just do this to apply a little bit of color. And then I want to be really vamp and take that Smoked Orchid and put it under my eye even closer to the lid. I'm gonna use a Sonia G Pencil Pro. And I'm gonna connect it to the top. And because this is such a grungy look, I'm not gonna be too careful about it. Oh, it's kicking. I love it. I just think it's so good. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. I love how it turned out. I'm so happy with it. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest of my face and then we'll be back. All right, I put on bronzer and a little bit of contour, but I didn't use the contour that's bad for my skin. And I'm gonna put on a little bit of blush. I wanted to show this one to you because I really like it. It's Buxom Prime Infused Blush in the shade Wonderlust. It comes in really cool packaging too. But I'm using my Sonia G Soft Cheek Brush. I think this is the perfect brush for applying blush. That's tough to say. I think this is the perfect brush for applying blush because it will give you a nice subtle color, especially if you have an intense color like this. So I want this shade, but I don't want it to be like bam on me, right? So to do that, you use this brush, tap it out, and you're just gonna start in the back and just gently, see how nice that goes on? And now I've gotten most of it off my brush, so I feel like I can kind of like tap it to get a little bit intense in the front where I want it a little more intense. Then just use my fingers if I feel like I got too much on. I just think it's the perfect, look at that, it's beautiful. I love this brush to apply blush. I have just been using it pretty much nonstop ever since I got it. I think it does such a good job because I've used other brushes, but I feel like as soon as I put a brush down, any brush, right, it just deposits the color and it's so hard to like blend out. I have a lot of problems with that. This is the only brush that doesn't just like chunk it all down in one spot. It like gently puts it down where I want it. All right, I was just filming my review of the ILIA foundation and I forgot to hit the record button. So this is gonna be the 4th time that I have reviewed this foundation for my channel. So here's the finished look. I threw on some lashes and whatever else. You know, the only thing I didn't put on was highlighter. Let me put on some highlighter because I feel like this look could use it. I'm gonna use the ColourPop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Seismic. And I'm just gonna put it along, use my finger, just put it along the top like that. I love it. Like, I didn't put highlighter on and I didn't dislike it without the highlighter actually, you know, like sometimes I think we put too much highlighter on. Not we, like me. I just wear it all the time and that's what I mean. Sometimes I feel like we wear highlighter all the time, like we think it's necessary, but I think like sometimes it's necessary and other times it's not. That's just how I feel about highlighter. Love that highlight. Seismic. I would buy that if I were you. It's $8. Colourpop.com. I wanted to give you a full review on the ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40 foundation, skin tint? I don't know what you would call it. I love this stuff. So I thought that I had used this like a handful of times, but I actually think I've used it more like 10 times. I've used it a lot over the last few weeks since I've gotten it, and I just am such a huge fan. So the price is $46. You get 1 fluid ounce, which is not a whole lot, but and honestly it is a liquid, so I feel like it's going to go through it kind of fast. I can't tell how much I have left in there. It'd be nice to know that. But I do kind of go through it kind of fast, I feel like, because I'm using it each day and you use 1/4 of a dropper every time, which seems like a lot. So I don't know, we'll kind of see how that goes and figure that out. One of the things I really like about this foundation is that when I'm going to the grocery store, when I'm running over to see a friend, when I am just like going out briefly but not necessarily going to be dressed up a lot, or just going to like lunch or coffee with someone, wearing a mask obviously, this is something that I can throw on really easily and it looks natural. It doesn't look like I'm overdone or cakey or full of makeup. I can just throw it on and you kind of can't even tell I have anything on. I also just really appreciate that it kind of looks like your skin but better. I don't necessarily want to look like I have a ton of makeup on when I'm running to the grocery store, but I also don't want to have nothing on because I do have like a lot of redness and it's just, I've got acne scars. I just want to cover them up as best I can, and I think this helps reduce the redness. It evens out my skin tone. You can still see my acne scars, but they're like a shade, like a touch reduced, and it's not as pronounced as it normally is. I do think this is a really good option. Now, the comparison or the dupe that I would find for this that's not less expensive, it's more expensive, is the Kira Weiss foundation that was recently released. It's $48, so it's $2 more, and I think you get about the same amount. It's also 1 fluid ounce for the Invisible Touch Liquid Foundation. So I've watched some YouTubers talk about it and seen reviews, and a lot of people say that they still prefer this over the Invisible Touch Liquid Foundation, so that's just something to keep in mind. Wear time. Now, I've had a lot of success with this. Once or twice I've worn it and it's broken down throughout the day, but pretty much at the end of the day, it's still on pretty fully. I think if sometimes on my nose area it will come off, so I must be like rubbing my nose a lot or something like that, but It has pretty good wear time. In terms of scent, it has a scent, and I can't smell it once I put it on. I never even noticed that it had a scent until I was trying to do the review, and I have scent as one of the topic areas I like to cover. And so I was like, oh, let me see if it has a scent, because I had never noticed. And I opened the lid like this, smelled it. Oh God. Every time I smell it, I may have that reaction. I'm like, oh, I forgot how bad it smells. It smells horrible, like horrible. And I never notice it when I'm taking it out and putting it on my hand and applying it. It's only when I like actually try to sniff it and I'm like, oh my God, it's awful. But I don't notice it otherwise. So I don't think that's something you have to be concerned about. And I have a pretty sensitive nose. It's not something that I've ever noticed until I was like, does it have a scent? Let me check. But I never smell it on my skin. I never smell it when I'm just taking the dropper out and putting it on my hand. I have to get like pretty close. I think that scent is the SPF 40. I also wanted to talk about the SPF 40. I think it's great that it has an SPF 40, and I have never had issues with this being like difficult to rub on. I've never had issues with it kind of like sweating into my eyes. It doesn't look chalky either. None of the issues that you normally have with an SPF have I had with this, and I think that's really great. It provides great coverage. So, I mean, it does a lot. It also provides a barrier to protect your skin and help keep your skincare like working throughout the day and protect your skin from pollutants. So I think this does a lot for you, and it looks really good too. So it's kind of like a little superhero in my book. I really love this stuff. So should you buy it? I always feel awkward answering that question, but I know it's an important question. In my opinion, if you're looking for something that looks like your skin but better, you're not looking for something full coverage, you're looking for something that you can just wear around wherever you're going and feel really comfortable, that you don't look like you have something on, this is it. And I think this is a good buy for that reason. What I literally do when I'm running to the grocery store is just put it on the top half of my face, because I wear a mask otherwise, and then I put some powder down because it does look very serum-y, like very bright on me. And I think it's just a great look. Right now I am wearing some concealer and a couple other things, and I thought it dressed up really well, but I would definitely wear a different foundation if I was going to be this glammed up normally. But otherwise, I think it looks really good. For me, this is a must-have. It's a favorite. It's something that once I run out of this, I'm going to think long and hard about whether or not I want to try the Kira Weiss Invisible Touch Skin Foundation. Otherwise, I just think it's so good. It's so good. The SPF 40 is like gold as well. So I'm really, really happy with this. So yeah, if you have any questions, would love to hear them, ask them below. But otherwise, that's all she wrote. Would love to have you join the family. So please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.